Welcome to this episode of ACT's GrowthTV. I'm Carolyn Vallejo, and today I'm joined by Brandon Newland. He is Director of Private Markets within S&P Global, and I'm also joined by Jocelyn Lewis, Managing Director at S&P Global. And we're here today to talk about S&P's merger with IHS Markit. So this merger happened a little bit earlier this year. My first question for you, Brandon, let's start with you. Why 2022?
Well, a merger this size certainly takes a little bit of time. So it might have been slightly a process to get everything sorted and completed, but once everything passed regulatory approvals, 2022 really was the cornerstone of bringing together two really, really important franchises, IHS Markit and S&P Global Market Intelligence.
When you look at S&P Global and IHS Markit, they're two information powerhouses. So, we want to be well positioned. When you look at it, we have such kind of complementary assets, like bring them together. We're better off together because that way we can grow alongside our customers. We really want to be the ones that are going to power the markets of the future. And we have the leading franchises, the deep sector expertise, and the talent to do that together. And our kind of unique and complementary assets that enables us to deliver a differentiated value proposition and really strengthens our core business in providing leading benchmarks, data, analytics, and workflow solutions.
One thing I'd add is the hypothesis I think that Jocelyn really nailed is this idea of data, solutions, and services, right? So historically, S&P has been a data business for quite some time. And now with all these different capabilities that IHS Markit is bringing to the table, we really can bring to the client and service them end to end with these core tenets of data, services, and solutions.
Are there any particular trends or interesting insights that you're watching that you've gained from your private market intelligence?
Well, 2021 was a banner year, right? So we hit $2 trillion in overall M&A activity. You had about 14,000 or so deals to make that up. A lot of that was taking companies private. So you had some large deals with McAfee at $15 billion. Cypress One, CoreLogic, but a lot of the repetitive deal volume is connected to the growth equity and late stage venture deals that we're seeing from folks that do deals at this conference, right? And when you look at growth equity and venture capital AUM, that has increased significantly over the last 10 years, that it makes up 83% of buyout AUM at this point, which is tremendous. So not only is late stage venture and growth equity grown significantly, moving forward, the AUM is going to grow and continue that trajectory. So right now we're at 9.8 trillion in private markets AUM, according to Preqin data that is now available via S&P Capital IQ Pro. That's expected to grow to 15 trillion over the next 5 years. And private equity and private debt are going to be the major contributors to that growth.
Well, you mentioned, if we're, at 10 trillion and growing to 15 trillion.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the exciting things about that flexibility of private capital is that you don't have to go through as rigorous of a process to enter the public markets.
Yeah.
Private markets, it's really all about making deals based on relationships. So if you have willing buyers, sellers, sponsors, leverage providers all coming together to do something that could be kind of transformational for a company, it's, I don't want to say easier because none of this is easy, but I guess it might be less rigorous of a process. I know some of the private debt deals that we've seen, they have some unique structures to them. And that's really because they can be flexible. I mean, never would I think that we would have pricing structures that are tiered based on achieving improvements in an ESG score. You know, I mean, I've heard of pricing that improves as your leverage decreases. You know, like that's pretty typical.
Sure.
But there's just all these kind of new types of negotiation points, I think, that end up making a really good deal. So I think you have kind of that creative side, and then you also have new investor types too. So, you know, the private equity firms now, they have private debt deal teams too, because they see, oh, you know what, this is another way to put capital to work. And then you have your traditional kind of fixed income investors, and they have more private placements in their portfolio. That's usually how they refer to them, which I guess creates some confusion too, because then it's like, you know, okay, well, private equity is one thing. Then you have your kind of broadly syndicated credit market. But in a down market, is private debt and the broadly syndicated loans, how do you really differentiate there?
Right.
So it's a lot of new entrants to the space, which I think creates a lot of opportunities. So with new entrants, you see outsourcing, for example. You know, we have teams, legacy IHS Markit, that provide tons of professional services. It's really interesting to watch this all evolve, especially sitting where we have seen this from just kind of our legacy clients for so long. And by this, I mean how helpful and kind of critical the not only intelligence, but like the workflow tools that we provide, how we really partner with our clients. And now we're seeing it with all these kind of newer entrants coming in. So it's just a really exciting time for us.
A lot of complexity, but it sounds like a really great time for S&P and IHS Markit to combine forces and really support customers through everything that is going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, Brandon, Jocelyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I'm Carolyn, and this is ACG's Growth TV.